Hi.
Um, okay. So tell me a little about yourself, Chris.
Yeah, so my name's Chris Dugan. I'm a dad of 11-month-old Lachlan. This little this little guy, and he's just the cutest. I'm a project manager for Intermountain Health as my day job. And since Lachlan was born, started a small business as well called Dad Venture. Um, with the goal to encourage dads to get outside with their kids and do fun things outside and be involved in um, their kids' lives and really be part of the um, family unit, so to speak. Doing diaper changes, pick up from daycare, drop off, things like that. That traditionally maybe dads weren't as involved in, but probably need to be. So that's a little bit
Sure.
about Dad Venture and me and Lachlan.
It's exciting. So
Yeah.
what's a day in the life as a dad for you?
So we usually he wakes up around 6 to 7 a.m. So there's no sleeping in anymore, even on the weekends, which is a bummer, but that's okay. So usually I get up first, make coffee. My wife and I, get him up if he's not up already. She'll nurse him because she's still breastfeeding. And then I usually take him to daycare about 7:30 or so, because my workday starts earlier. Um, Go to work all day, play with toys. Um, and then I usually pick him up. My wife works 4 10s, and so she works till like 6 p.m. every night. So I'll pick him up about 4 p.m. or so from daycare. Um, and then we have a couple hours to hang out. So we will either go grocery shopping, or a lot of times we'll take him and the dogs up to a forest road about 20 minutes from our house and do a walk or a run or something, where the dogs can run around and be off leash. And Lachlan gets to be outside and see all the trees. He's a big fan of trees. And then we get home around 6 o'clock, right around when Christy, my wife, gets home, and we'll, make dinner together. Or one person will make dinner while one person plays with him. And then hang out, play with some toys till about 8. And then we take him up to his nursery around 8 and read some book. We just finished all the Harry Potter books and put him to bed, and then rinse and repeat.
Um, it's funny
Yeah,
how you
right.
said.
Yeah.
Um, so what have you been doing today? Doing the same thing like you just said.
Yeah, same thing. So we didn't get a walk in today because I had to pick up the truck from the shop. It was broken down, but same kind of thing. Now he's chewing on a clip. Yes, thank you, thank you. But yeah, I get to, because my wife works 4 10s and gets home later. I usually get a couple hours with him by myself, which is kind of where the whole Dad Venture thing came about. I was taking him to the store and on walks and stuff, and I was kind of like, you want to go on a little adventure with Dad? And then we started calling it a Dad Venture, and then we thought, well, hey, why don't we, since we're super, not sleep deprived and everything, why don't we just start a small business in the first year of our baby's life too, and encourage other dads to get out there and do the same.
Has other dads have contacted you?
Yeah, I've talked to it's I think building the small business has been a little harder than I anticipated.
Mm.
But in kind of different ways than I anticipated too. The I don't know how you feel about this, but Facebook and Instagram has kind of been a nightmare to deal with, and
Yeah,
they shut down the Instagram account right away, calling it fake and whatever, and that took like 3 months to finally talk to a person and get it all sorted out. Um, and then it's a challenge. I got like 600 followers I'm on now on Instagram, but I feel like you need other people with bigger accounts to interact with you and tag you and
yeah,
do all that, and getting that to happen is hard.
yeah.
I've
It
reached
is.
out,
It's
to like,
it's it's
yeah,
totally is
you're
trying to find people to promote you or promote your
yeah,
brands. Um.
yeah, yeah. And even like,
Oh,
I've reached out to REI, who's kind of, I feel like going after a very similar demographic that I am. And they've commented back on a few posts and things like that. But I asked them if they would. I did this podcast with my brother, who's a wilderness medicine doctor. Um, and I asked if, like, hey, REI, this seems like your clientele would be interested, in this subject matter. We're going to talk about, wilderness safety and kids and stuff. You guys want to help, like, throw up the promotion or whatever on your page, and um, I'll give you shout outs and whatnot. And of course, there was no response, which is better than, I guess, a straight out no. But because a lot of times, I'll write back to these bigger dad accounts or like Baby List and Every Mom and all these new parent accounts, and you just never hear anything back at all. Um, and then a lot of times you just get rejected. They're like,
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Also, no, we're not going to do that. And you're like, come on.
I mean, it's totally is trying to. It's hard trying to find people to help you out to get
Yeah,
going, but it's I don't
yeah.
know.
And I feel like you have to be funny or really good looking or both. Then there's parents out there that like judge you for making jokes or whatever with your kids, and it's like, well, if y'all would
Uh,
just buy something, then we wouldn't have to
yeah,
try to be funny.
yeah. I mean, it totally is. It's hard to promote yourself, really. I mean, I
Yeah,
kind of
for sure.
I mean, I do the booster pads, but I mean, uh, uh it's how it is, I guess. I
Yeah,
don't get. I mean, I used to work for or I did like a promote uh diapers, but that for a while, and then I got a
yeah,
good amount of money for that, but then it kind of dialed down. So I
yeah,
said, okay,
yeah,
that was just a one time
yeah,
thing, but
yeah. When you gotta, I don't know how you feel, but you gotta go with the flow. Like I've got all these what I think are funny T-shirts and whatnot, and no one's buying them. But then 2 weeks ago, people started buying these coffee mugs, which I did not set out to be like a funny coffee mug business, but it's what's it's what's working right now. So now I'm doing coffee mugs for the moment.
well, that's good. That's good.
Yeah, yeah, but yeah, I mean, there's so many things that, and I think we're getting there as a society. I think it's getting better. But like I think I was telling you about this. But we traveled for Thanksgiving, and I was going to go change him. He was gonna change you. We were in the Las Vegas airport, and I went into 3 bathrooms, 3 men's rooms before I found one with a changing table. And even I was in, I guess 2 of those were family restrooms, and there were still no changing tables.
Yeah.
And you're in Las Vegas. It's not super clean. You're like, we're not gonna change you on the counter in here. Like we need to find one with the actual changing table. But it's good to talk about this stuff and get more dads and men involved, because I think that's how we make progress in the long run.
Yeah, wish there was. I was thinking of like maybe next year or this year coming up, doing like a fundraiser, trying to get more changing stations out there, but or something.
Yeah,
or promoting dad bags or something.
Yeah, I'd be into it for sure. I mean, I think one of the, like when Christy was still pregnant with him, I was reading some books and stuff, but I asked some stupid questions. I can't remember what they were, but Christy was like, "Oh, well, you do blah 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 blah." I was like, "How do you know this?" And she was like, "Oh, I have like a group text with all my girlfriends that have had kids, and that's what we talk about." I'm like, "Oh, but there's nothing like that for for dads out there."
Oh, no.
Yeah, and then you see like all of because of course you have to buy a bunch of stuff, like early on. You got to get a crib and a car seat and a stroller and carriers and all clothes, all the things.
Yeah.
And all of the marketing is just women. Like it's the stroller commercial is all the moms going to yoga at the park together, and you're like, great, but dads should be part of that too, so that they see themselves in the marketing materials and in movies and TV shows and whatnot as being part of their kids' lives, and then emulate that behavior. But there's it's like the one place in life where it's not geared towards
Yeah, I mean it should. Yeah, they need to work on that. I mean,
yeah, and it's getting better, I think. Like one of the, I can't remember the name of the book I read, but it was written by a psychologist who, back in the 80s, I think, when they were going to have their first kid, he was like, well, what do dads need to know? And he searched for books, and there was like nothing out there. So he's like, well, I guess I'll do the research and write a book myself, specifically for dads, because there's a lot of, things that new dads are going through as well, that it's helpful to know about beforehand, before you little whippersnappers are born. Yes, thank you. Thank you. So we're getting there, but still a ways to go.
I mean, there is a book that I did an interview with a book author, and he wrote a book and it was called Diaper Dude. Have you heard of it?
Okay, I think I've heard of it, but I haven't read it yet.
I mean, it's I have it somewhere in the house, but I mean, it's a good book.
Yeah,
it's a good book.
And there is that Daddy Up. I don't know if you've heard of that, but that's it's similar to like Ovia or What to Expect, but geared towards dads. And so it's like these are the things you should do at every stage of the pregnancy, to get ready for being a parent. But it's like it uses the metaphor of climbing a mountain, and so they tried to make it like kind of rugged and outdoors and things that like dads could relate to more than some of the other apps that are out there. So there's things.
Yeah, there's
But there
things.
needs to be more still.
Yeah. Is there
We're not
anything you
quite there yet.
is there anything you would like to make if you had the chance to?
Oh, good question. Well, I'll give you a funny one that I can think of. There should be baby toys, but without the baby music, like where you could connect your phone to Bluetooth and listen to like Ozzy or something instead of like the puppy is coming to the house today. On repeat 12 million times. So that would be cool. I mean, I'd love to have like a clothing line and like branded outdoor gear for dads mainly, but like picture like a Patagonia puffy jacket, but branded with dad stuff instead of Patagonia. And that's what I thought I was gonna do when I started my business, and we've had to come down from that dream for the moment anyway. Yeah. Isn't that right, bud? Yeah. And then I thought of doing a diaper bag, like more geared towards dads, because I don't mind. We have a couple different diaper bags, and I don't mind carrying them around, but they're typically designed
for girls.
More, yeah, yes. Just trying to think of how to say that.
Yeah, I mean there is a couple of Instagram, like there is diaper bags that I've seen people. I follow a guy that makes the really nice ones, but I don't know. They're all right.
Yeah, there's one I've heard, Dude Dad, that has some diaper bags, but they're like $80. It's kind of prohibitively expensive, probably for a lot of people. And I kind of did some research on a few options to see if I could start that. I haven't found a good like supplier for them yet that would be, cheap enough that you could sell it for $50 or something and still make some money. But I'm sure they're out there. Just gotta find them, which takes time, and you don't have a lot of time when you've got a squirmy little guy like this.
Yeah. Do you keep diapers in the car?
Oh yeah, I keep them everywhere. I keep so I usually take the diaper bag with me, and then we have a one of the best products that I've found in being a dad with him, especially an active dad, is an Osprey backpack, and I can't remember what the model is, but it's basically the hiking backpack that he goes in. And so I've stashed a bunch of diapers and some baby food things in there, along with now some jackets and stuff for winter. So we've kind of just got diapers in all of the things that we use. And so like we've got a bike trailer for him too with a car seat in it. I have a little tiny diaper bag in there so that like when we go get, we might ride to the coffee shop on Sunday morning, and then we've got diapers and wipes and stuff in that little bag too. Do you want to be set down? You want to be set down? Here, go play. So yeah, I think that was one of the big things early on was like you're always sleep deprived, right? So just put diapers and food and
Yeah.
wipes and spare clothes like everywhere because you're gonna forget one time or another. But if you've already stocked it, then it's okay. I don't
Yeah.
want to touch that. No, don't break that.
Um,
Yeah. Uh-oh. Now he's playing with the computer.
oh
There we go.
no.
Yeah, they appear to really like the bright lights and stuff on computers.
Yeah.
Like we'll video call our parents and whatnot, and he's always now crawl or walk right up to the camera so all they can see is his forehead, and they're like, "Oh, this is so great!
Or
You can
like to
see
see
his
your
forehead."
face.
Yeah.
Is is sleeping good with him? Is it hard to
It's pretty good. He will sleep through the night. It's certainly not every night right now. He usually wakes up once around 2 or 3 a.m. And my wife will go nurse him, and then he'll go back. He goes right back to sleep, and then he'll wake up around 6 or 7 usually for good. So it's not bad. And transitioning him from our room in a bassinet into his room went really well. He was fussy like one night, and everyone had said, like, oh, it's going to be a nightmare, and it really wasn't. So we got lucky in a lot of ways. He's pretty easygoing. Um, but there's no sleeping in anymore. We used to once a month maybe sleep in on the weekends till 10 a.m. and that ship has sailed for good. Okay. But he's starting to walk, and that's super fun.
That's exciting.
Yeah, he can go about maybe 10 steps at a time right now, which it's like 2 feet total of actual distance. But no, don't play with that one. No, 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 no. But yeah, it's pretty exciting, and we have stairs, so he's climbing the stairs a ton,
Oh,
and I think that's how he's getting strong enough to start walking.
hopefully he doesn't fall.
No, I follow right behind him. It's very much a two-person activity. So
Yeah.
Christy will be making dinner or something, and I'll be like climbing the stairs with him 6 times. Well, this is what I'm doing. This is what he wants to do.
Yeah.
Where are you going, buddy? No, not back over there. No, we're not going over there. We're not going over there. He's like, why? That's where I want to go.
Yeah.
That's where I want to go. You want some milk? Want some milk? Ooh, yum yum. Yeah, it's a fun life. Never boring.
Get something to do, I guess, every day.
Yeah. There's always something to do. Right now, it's redirecting him, like I'm doing right now. From he wants to like go climb in the cat box. Electrical cords are big. Anytime he sees one of those, he wants to go bite it. So there's always something to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
That right, buddy? Yeah. Yeah.
So So, what's your plans for Christmas?
We
It,
are gonna stay here. We're in Santa Fe, New Mexico. And he was born December 29th, so just 4 days after Christmas. So we're gonna stay here, and our parents, not my siblings, but our parents are gonna come here and have Christmas and his first birthday.
well, that's
Which will be
exciting.
fun. Yeah, yeah, it'll be a good time. It's hard. I was born on December 27th, um, and it's hard to have a birthday that close to Christmas because usually, everyone's hanging out with family or out of town,
Yeah.
and then here, it's cold, and so it's hard to do like a big party outside or anything because it's 0 degrees normally.
Oh,
Um,
yeah. I mean, my
but
birthday
but
my
we'll have
birthday's
fun.
uh in January, so I understand.
Okay. Yeah. And you're in Kansas City?
Yeah, yeah,
It gets pretty chilly there too, eh?
yeah, totally.
Yeah.
It's freezing outside. I mean,
Yeah.
there's no snow yet,
It's
but I mean,
Yeah. Yeah, we got 6 inches a week ago and did a little backcountry ski with him on Sunday. Pretty fun. But then it was 50 degrees today, which is not normal.
does
It's a
he
little
like the
scary.
snow?
Oh yeah. Yeah, we've got a really good little snowsuit for him, and so he's toasty warm, and he started eating snow the other day. He's still, really curious, kind of like pokes it and then puts some in his mouth and then pokes it again. Um, doesn't quite like understand what it is, but
Yeah.
it's pretty cute. And we always figure if he's not crying or screaming, then he likes it. And uh, so far he hasn't screamed bloody murder at us when we're playing in the snow. So we take we
Mm.
take that as approval.
Mm.
Yeah. And now he's playing with headphones.
Oh, I guess he loves those headphones. Hopefully, they don't break on him.
He really likes cat toy. Anything that can like dangle and spin around.
Yeah.
He loves those. He'll grab the cat toy, one of those like bars with the string and a little thing on the end, and he'll like mess it around, and the cat will come up and play with him. And I'm like, look, they're playing together.
Hmm. That's
Now we
interesting.
now we can have 10 minutes of break time for the parents.
Hmm. Well, that's funny.
Yeah.
Um, let's see on here. So do you have like? So what would you do if you do you have any tips about for other parents?
Oh yes. Where to start? Um. So I was saying, he's pretty easy, and you know, we're first time parents, so I'm not gonna say it's because we're amazing parents or anything. But what I will say is that like we didn't stay at home, for the first 4 months entirely. We went out and went to restaurants, and we went to Hawaii when he was just over 4 months old, and so he got on a plane pretty early, and now we've been on I think 8 or 9 plane rides with him. Um, and every baby is different, every family is different, but we've been on a couple longer road trips. We went to Texas with him. It was a 12-hour drive. We went camping in Utah. That was a 10-hour drive one way. Um, and I think, and he's pretty easy. And I think part of that is because we started doing that stuff early on. We and part of it's our lifestyle. It just, we weren't the type of parents that had like a very set schedule that we had to follow
Yeah.
every day. And so, he would take a nap sometimes for the whole dinner if we were out to eat or something at a restaurant, or he got good at, taking naps in the car on long road trips. And we stop more often and get out and stuff than we would before him. But, I think my theory is that the babies adapt to your kind of lifestyle. And so, if you never go out and then all of a sudden you go out to dinner, they're probably not going to have a good time.
Yeah.
So, I would say you don't have to be afraid of doing stuff outside of your house, even early on, because they'll at least adapt to, whatever your lifestyle is and the environments that you're in. And so I think starting that, if you want to, earlier than later is probably like the most helpful, thing that we probably did. And then the other thing too is I think just having a support network in place and being able to talk freely with friends, whether that's in person or online or whatever. Because there's hard things, he was on a bottle strike for 2 months, and so it was really hard for me to feed him ever, and that was really difficult. But I had some buddies that had kids recently that I was able to reach out to and get ideas from. None of them worked, but it was nice to at least to have that option and be able to call somebody and share feelings and experiences and whatnot. And definitely my wife had the same thing. Breastfeeding is easy now, but it didn't start out that way.
Yeah.
And so having a good support network for her was important early on. And we, it depends probably a bit on where you live, but there's some nonprofits here in town that we reached out to and got engaged with. And those have been great for all things, but especially early on when breastfeeding was a struggle. So yeah, I'd say those are my two biggest tips. You don't have to put your life on hold necessarily if you don't want to, and I think your baby will adapt. And then number two is having some kind of support network, hopefully before they're born. Whether that's friends, family, nonprofits, combination of all of the above. But I'd say it's much easier to get through things with support around you or friends that you can call, things like that. So I think those have been the two most helpful things for us.
Have you ever had a babysitter?
We have. We went to 2 concerts over the summer, and we had a good babysitter that was really hard to find. And then she moved to Denver, so now we're searching again. And there's some websites and stuff out there where you can find people, and it might just be where we live. Santa Fe's not that big of a city, but it was hard to find somebody. And the other thing too is we have 2 dogs and 3 cats, and so we not only had to find somebody that's good with babies, but also doesn't mind dogs or cats.
Yeah.
But that's one of the funny things, so we've gone out a few times, which I think is important too. But people will be like, have you seen the new movie, blah, 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 yet? And we're like, no. we've got a baby. We're gonna be about 2 years behind on the movie scene.
Yeah. Do you like watching a movie with your son? Like kids
Yeah, I
movies?
mean, he doesn't.
Care
He
for
won't
it?
sit there, watch it. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like if he's awake, we could put something on in the background. Like sports are great because you can kind of just have it on in the background, and
Yeah.
you can kind of watch it and watch him at the same time. Sometimes after we put him to bed, we'll watch a movie or a show, but usually we're so tired, it's like, all right, we'll just go.
Go to bed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now he's playing with a cat toy.
Oh. Oh, I see it flying around.
Yeah. Yeah, cat toys, dog toys, baby toys, they're all interchangeable now. We do this. My parents got us this thing through Love Every that sends you baby toys, every like
Yeah.
month, and it really is awesome. But there's all these balls for various toys. There's soft little squishy balls, and now we got a weighted ball, and there's hard plastic balls, and a lot of it's like learning. You put the ball in the hole, and then it rolls down the thing or whatever.
I've
But the
seen
dogs
that.
just like love. They're like ball, dog, mine, and you're like not yours. So they're all just interchangeable now.
Well, that's you're just having fun back there.
Yeah. And he's pretty good. He'll play by himself for a while. If you usually 20-minute times per day, he's pretty content to mess around by himself, which is nice because then we can,
Yeah.
brush our teeth and get ready for the day or get ready for bed or whatever. Eddie, what's he doing? You hungry? Now he's feeding himself a bottle, which is
That's
new.
good.
Except that he's not tipping it up, so he's not getting that
he's
milk in there.
He's learning.
Yeah. Yeah. He's saying words, he'll say dada and mama. And he's babbling a lot. La 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 la. That's pretty cool. Hey, buddy. Are you hungry? I might have to go feed him actually.
All right. Well,
time.
thank you so much for taking the time to do this with me.
Thank you. Thank you. It was great. We should do it again sometime.
I will. That would be great.
Cool.
I'll let you know when this is all up and all.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay. Bye.
You want to say goodbye, Moslin? Bye. Can you wait?
Bye.
Can you wait? Yeah, he's hungry.
He just loves that bottle. He just wants that bottle.
Yep.
All right.
Up there, dude. All right. Well, good talking to you.